All right, I am now live. Welcome to the Candy Shop Sunday Tea. I am Candace, and yes, I am alone today. I'm here to review the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 13, episode 2. Um, Very interesting episode. It was a lot better than last week's show. Last week was kind of boring. I was trying to be a good sport because I still am a fan of the Housewives of Atlanta. So I'm not going to talk about it negatively like other people are. So last week, yes, it was a little boring, but this week kind of made up. It was still somewhat boring, but I enjoyed myself. So I want to let's get into it. We can talk about it. So it starts off with Kenya and Cynthia. They're at Cynthia's house. I mean, actually at Kenya's house, and they are talking about the wine tasting that Cynthia is going to do at her own house. This is where we're introduced to Latoya. Now, Latoya is Candy's friend that Kenya met at Todd's birthday party. And so right now, I guess Kenya and this Latoya are very close. It all seems strange to me. Kenya or Latoya, I guess, is supposed to be a YouTube personality. So I'm still kind of, I don't know if I'm feeling her. And I'll talk more about her a little later. But her and Kenya have gotten like this. And even Cynthia is saying like, she doesn't know where it's coming from because it's like it's out of nowhere, and this is like a new Kenya that she's seeing. Both of them are getting separated from their spouses, and apparently Latoya is from Trinidad, just like Mark. I didn't know Mark was Trinidadian, but she knows a lot about the Trinidadian men, and so she's going over all these different terms or whatever. It still sounds like a mess to me. I had to take a sip on that. Still sounds like a mess. So I mean that scene was all right. I guess it was a way for us to get introduced to Latoya. I'm on the fence about her. I see why she doesn't have a peach because I mean I don't know. I'm not feeling her. So fast forward to the next scene. They're talking about Porsha and Porsha's arrest, and so this is the night that Porsha was arrested. We see PJ with Porsha's mom and her sister, and they're talking about different things. Porsha calls and she talks about how she met Tamika Palmer, which is Breonna Taylor's mother, and how Breonna Taylor's mother is still very selfless. And so it's a good scene. I will never stop saying her name, Breonna Taylor. So I like the fact that they're bringing her up in the show, even though some people feel like they're using it as a filler. I like the fact that they are bringing up and showing Breonna Taylor because that story needs exposure. So I'm glad that Porsha got the experience of meeting her mother. So that was a good scene there. Even though it was a filler scene, it was a good scene though there. So fast forward to Drew Sidora. This is where we meet her. And I already felt some type of way about her because I did watch the game. And yes, she did play herself and she was the side chick. And so because of that, I always felt some type of way about that. But we meet her. She's a friend of Cynthia's who Cynthia met her through Eva. So what was funny to me about this scene is the low-key shade that she threw at Kenya Moore. That was funny because Cynthia asked her, like, do you know Kenya? You guys are basically both actresses. And she was like, Kenya who? Who? And so she's like, I can't say that I met her. You know, we're in a different age bracket. Like she completely threw shade at Kenya. Drew Sidora, I believe, is around my age, so we're in our 30s, our mid 30s, and of course Kenya is like close to 50. So she was like, yeah, she would be like my big sister. So it was shade all the way around. And apparently Drew's ankle is like broken and she broke it in a play, which she's acting in with Leon, which is Cynthia's ex-husband. So I mean, bravo. All of these situations and scenarios, of course, they seem like even more scripted now than ever before. So it's just how convenient that she's in a play right now with Leon. So we see that they talk about Atlanta being popping is the place to be. No, it is not the place to be right now, not with COVID. So please do not come to this city trying to have a party because COVID is still here. And it's funny to me that they're shooting the scenes. I noticed with a lot of the scenes, it's just two people. So maybe that's their way of taking precautions for COVID. But either way, um, it's just no, no. But the Kenya shade, that was definitely funny to me. It was also funny that Drew Sidora said Atlanta is like family oriented. I've never thought this city was family oriented. It's a city. Atlanta feels like a city for Black entrepreneurs. I live here. I live actually outside of Atlanta, but I don't see Atlanta as a family friendly type of city. It's all about going out and exposure and acting and all this other stuff. We have Tyler Perry Studios here. So I think that's her real reason for being here, even though she's talking about it's family oriented. So then it cuts to, I guess, 8 hours earlier with Drew at home with her husband and her family. And that was pretty interesting to me, too. Now, her and her husband, they were celebrating their anniversary of 6 years. Her mom is living with her right now due to COVID. She's had to stay with them. And I don't, she said that her mother was a preacher or something like that. That part seemed, let me take another drink. That part seemed kind of weird to me. Apparently, her mother and her husband are like alpha people, and so they bump heads a lot. And it just, I don't know, it's just a weird situation. And I'll talk more about their marriage towards the end because that was what took the cake today in this episode. So fast forward to Candy. We see her and her mom heading to Riley's graduation during COVID, and that was pretty nice as well. It's sad that they only two people could go. It was still good though that Riley got to experience her graduation during the times of COVID. So I like that. And I also like the fact that they announced where she was going. So she's going to New York University, NYU. And that's a big thing. I love the fact that she's going to be college educated and apparently she wants to be a lawyer. So I like that. Then it switches to Porsha. This whole episode jumped around a lot to me. So it switches to Porsha coming from jail. She's talking with her mom. Still, the shooting during COVID is interesting to me. She's saying that she has to because of her protesting, she has to take time from her job. Now I was so confused because I was like, what is Porsha's job? And then I thought, oh, Dish, and then she said it. So I have never really watched the Dish episodes of her on the Ricky Smiley show. So that's interesting. I didn't know she was like a regular. So apparently that's her job. And that's funny to me. That's her job. And so I was just like, okay, all right, moving along. So we get to Cynthia's wine tasting, and this is what sets the whole episode for me. Cynthia is setting up, and she has an assistant now. And Kenya and Latoya arrive. Like, how convenient. Here come Kenya and her new little best friend, which I'm giving the side eye to because I just don't know about this Latoya. But Mike is there, and for some reason, is it just me or I did not expect to see him there? I don't know. I don't know why I was shocked to see Mike at Cynthia's house, but he's there. He's in the basement during her party. Marlo arrives and she's extra. I'm looking at my notes too because I wrote notes. Marlo arrives and she's like very extra. Kenya talks about her fashions, and we all know that Marlo at times has been very fashionable, even though she wears labels and different designers or whatever. Usually she looks fashionable, but lately, I don't know, it just looks like an old lady, just stuff just thrown together. Even just because it's a label doesn't mean that it looks good. And so I'm not feeling Marlo's style. I am feeling Marlo though. I like Marlo. I don't know why she does not have a peach. I think she deserves one, but I'm not feeling her fashions. So I don't know. But it switches back over to Candy. So we're at Candy's house, and Riley is coming from the graduation. She looked cute in her Fendi outfit. And I don't know if that's an Atlanta thing or what, because it seems like a lot of these people wore this Fendi. I know Monica wore it in the versus battle with Brandy, but The little daughter has on a Fendi dress. Riley has on a Fendi dress. And I'm like, okay. So moving along back to Cynthia's party, we get to Latoya, who talks about being a stripper. Now, I don't know if Latoya was playing or not, but this Latoya lady is pretty interesting. From what I'm hearing, she's just a YouTube blogger, but she got updates and saying she was a stripper. Kenya and Marlo still are like oil and water. They're not getting along, even though it seems like I don't know. Their friendship is interesting to me. They start talking about sugar daddies, and then Kenya starts this whole thing of pulling Latoya's braids, and I don't know. I don't know if it's her girl crush, but this, like Cynthia said, this is definitely a different Kenya. Then Drew arrives with her husband, and I guess he's hanging with Mark, and Kenya appears to be, I don't know, she starts throwing shade. She wants to view Drew real funny when she's quick to let Latoya into their group, but for some reason she feels some type of way about Drew. So I don't know what the history is with them, but I can tell they're not gonna like each other. And then I don't know, this whole Kenya's confession look, or when they're talking to the producers, with the braids, I didn't like that. I don't know. So I'm gonna move from that. But we cut to Latoya talking about how she didn't like Drew because in the game Drew was the side chick. So she's saying how she didn't like her. And then Marlo comes with the shade, of course, telling Latoya that she shouldn't trust Kenya. She shouldn't be telling Kenya all her business and all this other stuff. So still the same Marlo and Kenya. And then we have Mike having a talk with Drew's husband. And he's talking about the pressures of marriage and different things. And then so we cut back to the ladies, and this is what's interesting to me. I didn't have to take no notes on this because this part was interesting to me. So the ladies start talking about how they're separated. Latoya talks about how she's separated and she's ready to just do her thing. And so Drew is like, no, you're still married. Like, what vow did you take where you can just do whatever just because you're separated? And so they start going on talking about defining separation. And separation is a very tricky situation. Now, there's those that get separated, and they get back together, and then there are those that are going through the separation as the first stage of their divorce. So it's different for every marriage. I would say this: if I was single, I would not want to deal with a man that was separated. I would you just never know. But this Latoya, she's ready to turn up. I agree with Kenya. Kenya says she doesn't think Latoya and Drew will get along. I don't think they are going to get along. I don't think Kenya is going to get along with Latoya because Kenya is going to get along with Drew. Kenya seems jealous of Drew. They don't match up. Drew is an actual actress, whereas Kenya, even though she's acted a little bit, she never really took off. So I don't know. But the very last scene, right before that, the very last scene, the ladies get into an argument about the separation, and then Drew shares how her husband has been missing for days. And so that part was interesting to me. So cut to the last scene. So this is what I don't understand. How does your husband leave for 3 days and you don't know where he's at? You have kids, you have everything, a family, and your mom is there, and your husband just ups and leaves. You don't even know he's gone. You say you were knocking on the door of telling him it's dinner and he's gone. And then fast forward to this last scene, you guys are at your anniversary dinner and you get into an argument again, and he's basically saying that he went to the beach. I went to Tampa. And she's like, oh, what's in Tampa? We've never gone to Tampa. And so she ends it by saying she's watching. So this is pretty interesting to me. I don't know what man can just leave his wife and kids and just disappear, and that's it. He don't tell her nothing. And then another thing that is so strange is he's watching her. So he has cameras set up. He's watching her, and he's into technology, but he has these cameras set up. Oh, my baby's crying. Watching her to make sure that he can get away with whatever he wants to get away with. That's why them damn cameras are set up as quiet as it's kept. He's watching her to make sure that she's not looking for him. This man is cheating on her. That's what it appears to be. Anytime you're leaving and you don't even tell her where you're going, and you talking about he went to the beach and all this other stuff, that's just too much. It's too much. So I'm very interested to see how everything unfolds. It sounds like they have a lot of underlying issues. And then how he gonna up and leave with Corona going on? It's just crazy to me. So I'm gonna have to get off here. My daughter wants to act up and cry, but this is my review on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 2 of season 13. I know it was short and sweet, but tell me, what do y'all think? How do y'all think this season is going to be? It's pretty interesting. We've already met the two new characters, and I would say I still miss Nene. I'm not gonna lie, but other than that, is I think it is picking up. I think it's going to be good. But now I'm about to go watch the Housewives of Potomac. I have to see this reunion. But thank you for watching. Again, this is Candy on the Candy Shop Sunday Tea. Bye bye.